nobody's really afraid of failing itself. People are afraid of what's going to happen when they fail. Think about it like this. When you're playing a video game, you're not afraid of not beating the level or your character dying or something like that. And it's because there is no consequence, right? When you die in a video game, guess what? You just restart the level or you respawn or you whatever, right? So nobody's actually afraid of failing because that is technically a failure, right? What people are afraid of is the consequences that are associated with failure. And my belief is that it's an evolutionary tactic to protect ourselves from making detrimental mistakes, right? If you believe in evolution at all, then you will understand that, at one point when you made a blunder, when you made a mistake, the odds of you surviving decreased tremendously, right? We have like lizard brains. We have brains that are so far from being all the way developed, like caught up with society, caught up with the world that we've created. And so your worst enemy in life is actually yourself, because we hold all these beliefs, we hold all these, evolutionary feelings to protect ourselves from the world that we, had, let's say 2,000, 3,000 years ago, right? Things that were developed to keep us safe from attacks from predators or other human beings, right? But the difference between today and 2,000 years ago is we have a lot of preventative measures to prevent, really bad things from happening for the most part, right? And so because of that, we have become extremely accustomed to being risk averse. However, taking risks and experiencing failure in a controlled manner is the only way to get to where you want to be. And so the more you can fail, the faster you can fail, you actually can get to where you want to be so much faster. But the thing that scares most people is taking the first step, right? And it's because they're surrounded by a bunch of other people who also haven't taken the first step. And they'll point and laugh at people who have taken the first step towards whatever it is that they want, whatever the big risk that they think they're taking, right? But the reality is, those are just people who are too afraid to step into their own and actually make something of themselves. They're too afraid to take that first step. And so what do? To make themselves feel better, they talk about other people and say, look at this clown, look at this clown, look at this clown. People that are way further ahead of them. There are people in my comments, on my Instagram that, call me a scammer and say this and say that. It's like, look, anybody that knows me know I've earned every single thing that I have. They know that I've put in the work to get to where I am. I had somebody the other day they said, I don't know anything about your work ethic. I don't know if you're going to work hard. I'm like, you think I would have built what I built if I didn't work hard? If my clients really didn't enjoy working with me, or if they didn't actually get success with me? Probably not, right? I'm well connected enough in baseball for, people that have, talked about me, right? And so what I think is hilarious is that nobody that's ever been ahead of me of where I want to be has been like, what you're doing is stupid, you should stop. If anything, they say you should do more of what you're doing. You should keep going even harder because they are ahead of me and they see things that I don't. They have a better perspective, right? And everything in life, your ceiling on what you're able to accomplish in life is based on your perspective. It's about seeing things more objectively and getting away from our lizard brain and all these things, all these cognitive biases that we've created growing up that we didn't really know were true or weren't true, because we hold so many biases about the world and they affect our actions in the day-to-day, right? And so in this video, what we're going to talk about is why the first step is the hardest and why people actually need to take the first step if they ever want to accomplish something, right? And so I got my trusty whiteboard back here to explain this concept, but really, think about taking the first step in entrepreneurship like you are crossing this gap right here, right? There is a gap and we have to cross it. right? And you're right here, okay? And you're aware of this gap, of this huge drop off, okay? And all you can see is that there's a gap here and that you don't know how far down this goes. For all you know, there are spikes at the bottom. And that if you fail, you're dead, right? If you don't make your online training business work and you invest all this money and time, then you're gonna die, right? However, it's not true. It's not true. Being alive is too easy in 2024 for that to be true, okay? There are so many safety nets, right? Because actually, the world is full of safety nets to make sure that you don't die. And at the very bottom, instead of spikes, there's a trampoline that will prop you back up. If you if you declare bankruptcy, really the only thing that happens is what? Can't borrow money anymore. You don't die. It's shame, quote unquote, but that's not even a real tangible thing. Like that is just a feeling. That's just an emotion. Shame is a feeling. But that doesn't stop you from acting, from doing stuff. It's not like your arm falls off if you fail, right? Maybe if, you're doing some construction or something like that. Those were where the serious physical risk can happen. But in entrepreneurship, there's really no physical risks. There's really no risk to your life. There are safety nets at each part. Right? There are people who are willing to help you make this jump, but you're so caught up on this gap that you can't even go over. And then you're surrounded by a bunch of people over here who won't even go to the ledge. And they're saying, hey, come back. Come back. Come back over here where it's safe, where there's ground. There's so much ground, but there's a million people over here fighting over scraps because over here is the land of abundance. And there are people over here that just seem so happy. How are they doing it? They must have figured out something that I don't know. They must have qualities that I don't have. They must be spectacular. And you know what? I am not worthy of being them. So therefore, since they have taken this jump, I am not worthy of being one of them. So I will not take that jump too. I will go back to this crowd over here and be comfortable, right? But I tell you what, I've never been more comfortable than when I'm over here. I don't have to worry about paying rent. I don't have to worry about paying my bills. If I had a big financial burden or financial obligation, I could pay it, but it's because I crossed this gap. It's not because I'm some super spectacular human being. It's because I took a chance on myself and I crossed this gap, right? And so what most people don't realize is that when you jump on this gap, there's actually a ladder right here. There's actually a ladder right next to this gap with all the safety nets and the trampoline at the bottom, right? In this world, in 2024, think about 100 years ago, how difficult it was to be successful versus today. All you gotta do is post videos of yourself talking to the camera. And you're afraid of speaking to the camera because you're afraid of your old high school friends that you haven't talked to in 15 years talking shit about you. How soft is that? You're afraid of people that you don't even speak to anymore, that you don't even really care about their opinions, talking shit about you because they're over here. And do you really want to be associated with people that are over here that are holding you back from growing? That are saying, stop waking up so early, stop working so hard. You don't have to do that. What if you fail? What if you succeed? There's literally money trees over here. There are money trees on the other side of this gap, okay? And so what too many people are trying to do is they're trying to do this. Trying to have 1 foot over here and 1 foot over here and tippy-toe across, right? But this gap is wide enough that the only way that you can cross it is with a running start and you jump. And it's possible. It is possible for so many more people. Maybe not everybody is cut out for entrepreneurship, okay? Maybe not everybody can cross this gap, has the, cognitive function and ability to speak to other human beings and do other things for other people with a value, okay? But there are so many more people that should be over here that aren't because of their limiting self-beliefs, because they don't think that they're worth it, because they think that all the people over here have something that they don't, but that's not true. They've just done things that they haven't. Life is about action, right? And so when you make this jump, and let's say you fall, there are safety nets to catch you, and then you take the ladder on the way up, right? This is help. This ladder is experience, okay? Because when you fail, you'll learn how to do it better the next time. You climb up the ladder and boom, now you're on the other side, and you'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't do this sooner, right? Or you can get somebody who's been over here to say, do this. And they'll tell you exactly what to do to get to the other side. So that way you don't have to fall down and then climb the ladder, right? Because most people, if they try and make the jump themselves, what they do is they don't fully leap, right? They try and keep one foot on the left side and get their right foot on the right side, and they fall in and they fail because they didn't take the full jump, right? I flat out quit my 9-to-5 job, went all in for online training. I didn't really have very much stacked, but I just said, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna make this work. And I jumped, and that's why I'm over here now, right? And that's why I'm here helping you, building the bridge for you to walk over, right? Because I will help you cross that path, okay? And this is why mentors are so powerful. Because I have skills, knowledge, and experience that if you're watching this video, you probably don't have. Even if you're older than me, even if you've been coaching baseball for longer than me, even if you've trained more athletes than me, if you're still watching this video, then you think I have something of value to give you. And so I ask you this question: what's it gonna take for you to make that jump?